Good day and welcome to this brand new short series that will be teaching you how to use After Effects, the basics. This will be teaching you basically how to get around and how to do stuff and how to bring your thoughts to the screen. So in this tutorial I'll be covering a lot of stuff because it's the first one, obviously. So I'll have to show you where things are, what tabs mean, that kind of stuff. So pardon me if this video is kind of long. The following ones won't be as long. So in this video we're going to be covering masks and keyframes, but mostly keyframes. So yeah, let's get started. So I made this video basically showing what you could do with masks and keyframes, which is basically, it's a simple little something. So how did I manage to do any of that? Masks and keyframes. Thanks for watching. How I managed to do any of that, basically we're going to make a new comp. So After Effects is not a video editor, it's a video compositor. So what does that mean, I hear you ask? Basically, it's Photoshop for videos. Plain and simple. So I don't recommend editing anything in here. So if you're making a video, I don't recommend you do the video in here because it's not really the place to do that. But it is the place to do sweet effects after you film them, hence the name. So comp, let's make a comp. So over here you want to go into the composition tab, new composition, or Control N. Next up, because I'm recording, I'm going to make a 720p comp. So 1280 by 720, square pixels, frame rate, do whatever you want. I'll do 24 frames. You can do 23.976, I believe is what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Then resolution, that's just, you can change that later. And then start, and then the duration, let's make it 6 seconds. So these are the frames, these are the seconds, minutes, and then hours. So 6 seconds, because that's just how long my video is over here. So there you go. And you can title it like, I don't know. There you go, tutorial. Okay. Let me check our schedule. Making comp, done. So let me just put a little star next to it. Excellent. Tabs, good. Tabs, so you'll notice down here I have these two tabs. That's because that's my previous project. That's the current tutorial. Over here you won't have these because you will most likely have the default layout of After Effects, which is, let me check that, just effects. Yeah, there you go. So yours will most likely look like this, which is kind of not the best because you'll notice I can't see anything. So to get yours looking like mine, all you have to do is go into Window, turn on Tracker. So now you'll notice you can actually drag the little tab and put it over here. Actually, I wonder if it's yeah, there you go. Put it on there. Now you have a nice little Tracker tab down here, and then you can add whatever you want to it. And because I've already set up my workspace, I just made a preset from it. There you go. So I have everything the way I want it to. So if I'm using any of these tabs over here, and I know you won't have them, I'll just show you how to open them up. It's basically the same. It's just go in Window and enable any of these. If you have any time, you could go ahead and open them one by one, see what they do, and maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. So enough rambling about tabs. Let's go. Tabs. Yeah, did I talk about tabs enough? Tabs. These are your effects. So I don't know. Yeah, effects. No, that's not it. Effects. I don't even know where it would be. But I know when you have a piece of footage selected, and you go in Window, it'll say effect for that piece of footage, and you just click that, and it'll bring up effects. So if you don't have that, just select a piece of footage, and then it should show. Yeah. So now you have pre-comp 2. Yeah, effects control, none. So yeah, let's move on. Next up, so tabs, pretty much covered. I will be talking about it more if I need to give you more information about it. But tabs, I would say, is pretty good. Next up is creating items. So this is great now, and in this tutorial I won't be using any live footage, so I have not filmed any of this. This would be like infographics or motion graphics or that kind of stuff. So it's not actually filmed, it's all created in your computer. So usually you'd import it into here. You'd like film it, put it in the folder, and then open up the folder, drag it into there. But we're going to be creating these items. So you can right click in an empty spot down here, press new, well, hover over new, and then you can select from this magnificent list of things you can make. So I want a solid because that's what my background is. So you'll notice back here I have like a light blue and a darker blue. That's one way you can add new things. You'll eventually run out of space. If you press the tilde key while you're hovering over something, it'll blow it up and make it big. If I'm hovering over my screen, it'll make my screen big. You get the point, right? I don't have to explain what's happening. So let's say you have a bunch of layers and you want to add another one, but there's no free space. Just press tilde, and you should have enough space. If you don't, because you're working on a big project, that's when you have to do the next step. So go into layer, new, and then there you go. That's where you have them. And now if I were you, I would highly recommend to learn these shortcuts so that you don't have to go up here. You can just press Control Y or Control Shift Y, Control Shift Y, or just Control Shift Y, I believe. Anyway, so we need a new layer. Right click, new, solid. Let's make it a nice, not white, but you know, kind of blue, kind of desaturated, a bit darker than normal. There we go, fine, perfect, excellent. This looks wonderful. Okay, so that's how you make things. So if I wanted to make an adjustment layer, same as that, adjustment layer, new, I don't know, camera, there we go. So that's how you create items. In my case, I will be creating a second solid, sorry about that. So new solid, where is it, solid, and I'm going to change the color to something a bit, you know, darker, a bit more saturated. There we go. Now I'll be moving that up later on, but I'll be doing a lot better than this. So now I have these two solids. Cool, so that's how you create items. Okay, so any questions on that, leave it in the comments below. Creating items, done. Item menus. So obviously you can animate these and do all kinds of things with them, but how would you do that? How would you make the square or the rectangle go all across the screen without having to drag it across the screen? Pretty simple. You just animate it. So this is the medium blue, I think it's called, medium royal blue solid. So to animate it, you're gonna click this little arrow, and then if you have a mask on it, you'll notice as soon as I draw a mask, look down here where it says transform, as soon as I draw a mask, you get this new tab that appears. But I don't want to do that right now. So if you drop down transform, you get a bunch of things you can animate. So the anchor point is basically where it rotates at. So if I press rotation, there it goes, that's why it's rotating. You'll notice it's centered. If I change the anchor point to, let's say, I don't know, there, and I rotate it, you'll notice now it's rotating around there. Nifty. Same thing if I change the anchor point and I scale it. I do not believe that this would matter much, but yeah, it scales from there instead of being centered. So you'll notice now it's actually, if I change the anchor point like that, and I put it there, well, not what I want to do. If I put it in the middle like that and I scale it, I do believe it's going to be all across the place. Yeah, see, it's not even at all. So that is these are the things you can animate just by default. Okay, so I want to bring this up to half the screen. So you'll notice that when I move this, the center point moves with it. So if I change that, now I don't know where the center is, and I just have to eyeball it. Or do I? If you go down here, right next to the magnification, you can enable a bunch of grids and stuff. So if you enable title action safe, you get this cool little grid, and with that you can actually position this to near perfect, and there you go, that looks good enough. Now if you used Photoshop before After Effects and you're used to working in Photoshop, you'll have to get used to eyeballing stuff, because I'm sure in Photoshop you're used to making it perfect and getting it right, but in After Effects you kind of just wing it and it has to look alright, and if it's a bit off, whatever, people won't notice. So there we go. There is ways to make it perfect, but usually if you eyeball it, it'll be good enough. So there we go. That's centered. So that went. See, now it's perfect. If I wanted to make it go from like this and make it go up, I'd have to animate it. So you'll notice next to position, there's this little stopwatch.